Thabo Bester, also known as the Facebook rapist, escaped from the Mangaung Correctional Center in Bloemfontein in May last year. It was initially believed that he had died in a fire in his cell, but DNA tests later confirmed that the charred body was not his. The spokesperson of the Tanzanian police force, David Masime, has since confirmed his arrest in Arusha in Tanzania. For more on the story now, we take you live to our correspondent, Isaac Lukando, who's in Tanzania for us. Isaac, thank you so much for your time this hour. So this is a story that's developing at quite a rapid pace. Perhaps take us through some of the developments that have come up over the past few hours in terms of ensuring that, the South African authorities and Tanzanian authorities alike are able to bring the three to South Africa.
Thank you. It is indeed true that the story is developing here at a very rapid pace in Tanzania. Tanzanians have woken up to the news that there is an individual called Thabo Bester, which they didn't know as of yesterday. Yesterday, journalists were scrambling here to find more information, or at least confirmation that indeed an individual called Thabo Bester had been captured in Arusha in an attempt to flee the country to get into Kenya. And so the Tanzanian population is coming to terms with that. Most of the print media here and social media is awash with discussions on the capture. Most Tanzanians considering this to be a very bizarre story, how he was able to escape a South African jail, and a lot of questions still loom large as to how he got into the country, where he was heading to, and at the moment the police force here hasn't given us more information about, for example, where he's being held. We presume that he's being questioned along with his accomplices, but the major thing that we are aware of is that South African officials will help perhaps come and shed light in maybe the next 24 hours or the next coming few days on the fate of Thabo Bester.
Indeed. And Isaac, as we're having this conversation, there's more questions than answers. I mean, just yesterday, after the spokesperson of the Tanzanian police, David Masime, confirmed that Bester had indeed been arrested, he said there were certain things that would need to be ironed out. Do we know what the process of bringing them back would entail?
Yes, we do have an idea. There are two routes that could be taken. One, the easier one being deportation. We do know from what the police have told us that they were captured or arrested with passports, several passports that hadn't been stamped, which means that they came into the country illegally. Which is a direct deportation. So this could happen within the next 24 hours, a very simple route that authorities here could take. But the other route could be one of surrendering this individual to South African officials who we are told will be arriving today in Tanzania. Extradition I am referring to here. And that process might be a little bit lengthier, that it could take a few days up to maybe even 2 months. Because what is needed to be done is to ascertain that indeed Thabo Bester is who the authorities have in custody, and also that he has been convicted of the crime that he's said to have been convicted of, and that this particular arrest here in Tanzania is not politically motivated, or at least at home, that is not politically motivated. So once that is established, most likely in front of a magistrate, then the authorities here will be able to surrender him to South African officials. But that's with regards to Thabo Bester. The other conundrum there that we have is about his accomplices, Dr. Nandipha Magudumana and Zakaria Alberto, who are accompanying him. The big question there is what to do with them. It's not quite clear the role that Nandipha played, and the authorities here would like to investigate further and find out just how involved she was. to be able to know what her role is. And also Zakaria, who is said to be a Mozambican national. Now, the question there would be, do they take him back to Mozambique, or would South African authorities like him to go and face trial in South Africa? But until all of this is ascertained about who played what role, the two of them remains a question that needs to be answered. But as far as Thabo Bester is concerned, authorities here could take the route of deportation, or they could seek the route of extradition. But this is something South African officials are going to come and sit down with Tanzanian authorities here and discuss and hash out. And because of the urgency of the matter, because of the sensitivity of the matter, I believe it is something that authorities want to clear out as soon as possible. So we could, in the next 24 hours or the next few days, hear about either the deportation or the extradition of Thabo Bester.
Right, hot on the heels of the story is our correspondent, Isaac Lukando in Tanzania. Thanks very much indeed for that update.